Hi there, and welcome to my review of Lilo and Stitch, a live-action adaptation of the original animated film of the same name, directed by Dean Camp. While the live-action and adaptation follow similar story beats as the original, it does manage to add a bit of nuance while making a few noticeably different changes to its story. What follows is a touching story of family dynamics, Hawaiian culture, the importance of belonging, all seen through the unlikely bond between a girl and a dog-like alien who has been genetically engineered to be a force of destruction. If you are new here, spoiler alert throughout this review, and if you have yet to see this film or its original animated film, please give those a watch for context and come back to this review once you have seen them. With that being said, let's take a moment to discuss what worked for the film. Pro number one, the bond between Lilo and Nani. Their performances bring a naturalistic quality that echoes real sibling dynamics from the fighting, the forgiveness, and the fierce loyalty for one another. The casting choices, especially with Kilola's emotional grounded portrayal of Lilo, help convey the grief, isolation, and resilience that define their journey. Pro number two, the neighbors. The live action version expands on the role of the local Hawaiian community, showing neighbors not as just background characters, but as active participants in the sisters' lives. This inclusion reinforces the theme of collective support and paints a fuller picture of life on the islands, something that the original film only hinted at. Pro number three, Stitch. Prior to seeing this film, I must admit that I was concerned that seeing a live action Stitch wouldn't work. However, I am glad to say that Stitch looks great in this film and is presented as close to his original look as possible. Stitch's CGI rendition is expressive and surprisingly endearing, avoiding many of the common pitfalls of the uncanny valley effects. He retains his chaotic personality without being too cartoonish or too grounded. The filmmakers wisely balance his destructive tendencies with moments of tenderness and childlike curiosity. Pro number four, respectful depiction of Hawaiian culture.
Working with the locals in Hawaii on Lilo and Stitch was actually, I think it's nice to have a community come around you and support a story, and like if you could be authentic to their environment and their culture. It was actually it was just it was like giving back every day in a weird way. It was a reciprocal kind of relationship.
I don't think there's another state in the union that has such a glowing health as that culture dealing with family than Hawaii. The importance of that, we've kind of lost it, but we all come from cultures mostly that where family was incredibly important. Here in America, it's individualism and John Wayne and whatever. But family, and that's that Hawaiian culture. I said it before, the other 49 states could learn from that.
Unlike many depictions of Hawaii that veer into tourist fantasy territory, this film attempts a more grounded portrayal, from casting native Hawaiian actors to incorporating language and customs and cultural references. The movie strives for authenticity over exaggeration. Pro number five, emotional subtext and grief. The story leans more heavily into the emotional aftermath of the parent's death. Themes of trauma, unspoken grief, and the weight of responsibility are explored more explicitly than in the original, giving Nani as well as Lilo's characters added depth and maturity. Pro number six, and probably the most divisive, is Nani's continual pursuit of marine biology. You see, Nani's backstory about wanting to study marine biology adds emotional texture. Her sacrifice of personal dreams to care for Lilo is not portrayed as saintly, but as painful, complicated choice, one that reflects many real-life situations for young caregivers. The addition of Nani's aspiration to study marine biology before her parents' passing adds heartbreaking nuance to her character. It's a rare portrayal of what it means to be a young woman forced to transition from sibling to parent overnight. Her choice to stay rooted in love, but filled with sacrifice, reflects the quiet tragedies that many caregivers endure. By not romanticizing her decision, the film invites empathy for those whose dreams are deferred out of necessity, while still honoring their resilience. It also suggests that love and responsibility can coexist with longing, regret, and a hope for something more. With that being said, let's now pivot to what didn't work for the film. Con number one, not enough aliens and the wrong kind of screen time. The movie heavily downplays the alien aspect, which is supposed to be a core part of Lilo and Stitch. While Zach Galifianakis as Dr. Jumba and Billy Magnuson as Pleakley are well cast and bring potential, They're rarely shown in their alien forms. Instead, most of their screen time is spent in human disguises, which undercuts the sci-fi charm and fun of the original. Fans hoping to see more creative alien designs or interactions may be disappointed. Con number 2. The portrayal of social work and deadlines. The film's depiction of child welfare services strains credibility. Nani is given about a week to completely turn her life around, find stable employment, get health insurance for her younger sister Lilo, and prove financial stability. This oversimplifies the complexities of real-world social services and puts a bit of an implausible deadline on life-changing responsibilities, making the subplot feel rushed and emotionally ungrounded. Con number 3, and probably the biggest change other than the ending, is Captain Gantu. Captain Gantu, a major antagonist in the original, is entirely omitted from this film, leaving a noticeable void in the story's tension. Dr. Jumba is instead filling in his place, but doesn't exactly hit the same beats. While I understand this change may have been made for the story that this particular live adaptation was trying to tell, or maybe perhaps the financial strains and the CGI, it is nonetheless worth mentioning here as a con. With the pros and cons out of the way, let's talk about the key takeaways of this film. Key takeaway number 1, importance of community. This adaptation deepens the exploration of how families are shaped, not just by blood, but by shared experience, support, and unconditional love. The neighbors and even the aliens come to represent unconventional but vital members of Lilo and Nani's extended family. This adaptation broadens the emotional landscape by emphasizing that family isn't limited to those we share blood with. It includes the people who show up when it matters most. From nosy but caring neighbors to well-meaning strangers and even extraterrestrial visitors, Lilo and Nani's story is shaped by a tapestry of connections that fill the gaps left by loss. The film makes a powerful statement. Healing doesn't happen in isolation. It's through community, through shared meals, late-night talks, and unspoken understandings that fractured lives begin to feel whole again. The inclusion of more neighborhood involvement helps reinforce that in Hawaiian culture, ohana truly extends beyond the walls of your home. Key takeaway number 2, commentary on all-inclusives. The film uses all-inclusive resorts not just as a setting, but as a quiet critique of how these polished, tourist-driven environments often overlook or even marginalize the local communities they rely on. Nani struggled to maintain steady employment across various resorts despite her dedication reveals a deeper commentary on the precarity of local labor and systems that prioritize guest satisfaction over employee stability. Stitch and Lilo's chaotic presence becomes a scapegoat, but the underlying tension is clear. These spaces are quick to exclude, even when built on the backs of those they exclude. Meanwhile, Lilo's habit of sneaking into these resorts, moving from pools to activities without being a paying guest, although comedic, serves as an almost poetic reversal. In her mind, these pristine places are for everyone. Her innocence challenges the invisible but very real boundaries of access, class, and belonging. Through this lens, the film asks, who gets to enjoy paradise and at what cost to those who live there? Rather than paint Hawaii as a vacation fantasy, the movie hints at the disconnect between the marketed dream and the lived reality, especially for Native and working class families, similarly to the neighbors and with Nani in general. It's not a full-on indictment, but it's a meaningful subtext, one that gives the film a layer of socio-economic realism rarely seen in Disney narratives. Key takeaway number 3. Ohana means family. No one gets left behind, not even yourself. The most iconic line from the franchise takes on new meaning in this live-action adaptation. While the original emphasized unconditional loyalty to others, this version deepens the message. Sometimes you are the one you risk leaving behind. Through Nani's suppressed dreams, Lilo's emotional outbursts, and Stitch's search for purpose, the film explores how people abandon parts of themselves in the name of duty or survival. It's a gentle but firm reminder that love must extend inward too, that in protecting others, we must also protect our own dreams, healings, and humanity. Key takeaway number 4. Hawaiians are Americans too. Without being heavy-handed, the film offers an important cultural correction. Hawaii is often portrayed as a picturesque backdrop of an exotic other within American cinema. But this adaptation subtly reclaims that narrative, showing everyday life, local traditions, and economic hardships in a way that humanizes the islands and their people. From references to cultural pride to real conversations about opportunity and systematic pressure, the film reinforces that Hawaiians are not merely characters in paradise. They are Americans too. Their stories, struggles, and heritage deserve to be told with nuance and respect. In the end, this isn't just a story about an alien crash landing in paradise. It's about broken people trying to hold their world together with love that isn't perfect, but persistent. In a time when families take many forms and the idea of home can feel out of reach, Lilo and Stitch offers a quiet, beautiful truth. Belonging isn't something you find, it's something you create. And in that creation, through the chaos and the care, we discover that Ohana isn't just a word, it's a promise, a lifeline, a reminder that no one, not even the most unlikely among us, deserves to be left behind.